Welcome back on this Tuesday. It doesn't quite feel like it out there, but it is officially spring.
We won't be able to get your fingers in the dirt for a little while, but that doesn't mean our gardening skills need to be put on hold until the snow melts. Garden Guy Dale Kay is live with some early planting tips for spring bulbs. Hi, Dale.
Good morning. You mentioned about getting your hands dirty early. Well, this is one thing that you can plant right now. And as you mentioned, yeah, it's a little bit wee cold outside to do planting outside. And I should mention right off the top that the last frost-free date here in the Twin Cities is about May 15th or right around Mother's Day weekend. So use extra caution. Of course, there's absolutely no chance of getting out there and planting today. And a good friend of mine actually said to me a little bit ago, Dale, just hang in there. Just hang in there. It's going to be okay. I'm starting to shake. But if you're starting to shake too and itching for spring, this is what you can plant right now. We're talking about actually summer bulbs or spring bulbs, and they're a little bit, it gets kind of confusing, or this is where it gets confusing. Oftentimes when we talk about spring bulbs, we think about tulips and daffodils and hyacinths, and they're the ones that we plant in the fall in our gardens because they need a cool spell to actually force them to bloom. So they're laying in wait under the soil out there in our gardens, laying in wait to bloom. The ones that we're planting today are the ones that we actually plant in the spring. They'll bloom in the summer, and the great thing about them is they don't need any cold forcing to bloom. So what can you plant right now? Well, I've got a few examples here. Dahlias is a very, very common one. And if you want to see an absolutely stunning little dahlia display, the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum in Chanhassen, if you visit there late summer, go to their Dahlia Trail Garden. It's one of the few in the country. Absolutely spectacular. You can also grow them, of course, in your own garden. I like the ones that are really big, like the big dinner plate dahlias. They literally are the size of a dinner plate, about the size of your head. Really, really cool to plant. Really fun to have in the garden as well. Make great cut flowers as well. Then also there's canna lilies, there's begonias. They work great. Lilies also work great. And elephant ears also work great as well for planting at this time of year, and that's the elephant bulb there. And the reason why I like to plant these now or start them now is we're kind of cheating on the season, if you will. We're getting a jump start on the season, which is quite beneficial and really kind of unique to this neck of the woods here in Minnesota. So we're kind of replicating spring in our own homes, getting these started. So come about mid-May, we can transplant them right outside. Gladiolas like these, actually you can direct plant right out into, they don't take a lot of time to bloom. They're actually quite quick. So if you see gladiolas at your favorite local garden shop, you can just direct plant those towards the end of May. The other thing that I've done, and it's really quite like having Christmas all over again, I've got a wonderful little Prezi here, and this is actually some canna lilies that I lifted in October once we had a little bit of frost. I had to write a little reminder on the box. It was a bronze leaf one. I had to scribble here. It's actually a little bit cold out when I did this, so my writing's all chicken scratch. But I put the date on it. I put these in a cardboard box. And what I did is just layered them, or I actually just dried them out a little bit. You don't want to put them to bed wet. This actually was laying in my basement all winter, and I had a good mix of perlite and peat moss. And actually, oh, it's just like Christmas. Look at that. Oh. And this is a great, this is cheap as chips. You can just kind of keep replicating your own flowers. And the reason why these were lifted in the fall is because they're not cold hardy like your tulips and your daffodils. So all these ones that I'm showing you today actually go ahead and lift them in the fall. A lot of these actually even aren't bulbs. It's just kind of a common name. A lot of them are just swollen roots or tubers. The begonias themselves are actually true bulbs. So they're kind of a little bit confusing, but they're all kind of planted quite the same. So there's my there's my canna lily bulbs left over from last year. And then from there, what I do, no fancy pot, I just use a grower pot. And of course, you can recycle your pots. Give them a little bit of a clean out, get rid of all the old soil. All the old soil can go right in your compost bin in the fall. But basically, I've got a really good quality potting soil in here. And that's super key because you don't want them sitting in or drowning in kind of heavy soil. They need some of that air circulation around the roots because you don't want these bulbs to go mold. And you can see, look at the life. Look at that. A little bit of life there. Isn't that? That's so amazing. Okay, so that goes right in my good quality potting soil. I'm going to put that little node up to the top, and then I'm just going to cover them up, just like that. I've used pre-moistened potting soil, and I'm going to do these kind of in mass. So I'm going to actually put quite a lot of these on one tray, and actually the tray will help catch the water, of course, when I'm watering. And then underneath that, I've got my little heating pad right here. And that heating pad will actually warm up the soil temperature, because that's really what you want, is that warmer soil temperature that we would get in May into June. This heats up the soil, and then from there it's just a matter of keeping this moist, not wet. Moist, not wet. That's super key. Can't stress that enough. Put it in a bright window so you're catching some thermal energy as well, not too close to the window. And then when they start to sprout, you can actually rotate the pots around so they kind of don't end up kind of stretching towards the light or going this way and that way. But a great selection, and if you go to your favorite local garden shop, you can see the selection behind me, absolutely outstanding. You get a lot of great color in the summer, and the best thing is, hang on, look at that, soil under the nails. Doesn't get any better than that on the first day of spring. Back to you.
Smells good,
I like
too.
that, yeah.
You know, the soil, it just smells good.
Awesome, Dale. Thank you.
Tastes good too. Tastes good.
Dale, stop.
Okay. You knew he was good.
You lost us, yeah.
All right, Dale, thank you.